Have you ever watched a TikTok or a reel and went straight to the comments? Because after watching the video, you knew that the real value was going to be in the comments. Well, that's exactly how this video is going to be. I did a video where I talked about the ugly side of Etsy, and what I really enjoyed was all of the seasoned Etsy sellers chimed in and talked about their experiences on Etsy. I think it is very valuable to new Etsy sellers to kind of hear the ins and outs, the pros and the cons, the good and the bad from experienced Etsy sellers. In this video, I'm going to continue to tell you some of the dirty little secrets that Etsy sellers won't tell you, with the hopes that other Etsy sellers will come back to this video and chime in the content. I want them to tell you whether they agree or disagree with the points that I'm going to make in this video, and then bring up some other things just so you, as a new Etsy seller, have all of the information you need when you're starting your Etsy journey. Now, while we're going through this video, I'm going to take you with me on my day, so let's get started. One thing that I never hear talked about is the fact that revenue does not equal profit. Your shop could be pulling in revenue, but not making a profit. So you can't focus on just your revenue numbers, and these are the numbers that they show you in Etsy. Your shop could be pulling in a decent amount of revenue, and you can still not be making a profit. To give you a good example of this, let's talk about my fourth quarter from this past year, which will have been fourth quarter 2022. So I'm going to put what my revenue was for fourth quarter on the screen right here. Okay, and now let me show you what my profit was. You see here, this is an epic fail. I'm being a little dramatic. It wasn't an epic fail, but it did point out some things that were wrong with my business. I found out that I have inefficiencies in my production process. I experienced some huge shipping losses. And although I did scale my business, I didn't scale it in a profitable manner. Please remain seated. The next thing that Etsy sellers will not tell you is that you should not try to build a full-time income business from Etsy alone. Now, don't get me wrong. Do you want to build your Etsy shop to the point where you're making what you make at your full-time job, or that you can live off of your Etsy money? Yes. Should you live off of your Etsy money alone? That is absolutely a no. Remember what I always talk about. Etsy is not controlled by you, it's controlled by Etsy. Meaning that if anything happens and Etsy decides to pull your shop, Etsy changes its rules, and now something you sell does not stay in line with what their rules are, then you could lose all of your money. While you're selling on Etsy, if you're not taking the steps to build your own business, if you're not working on your branding, if you're not working on your email list, if you have everything inside of Etsy, then Etsy could pull your entire business just like that. That's why I always talk about having both Etsy to bring in new customers and then a strategy to pull customers over to your own website. Whether you're using Shopify or WooCommerce or Wix or any platform you want to use, you want to have your own site. So building your entire business and basing your entire livelihood off of an Etsy shop is building on very, very shaky ground, and I would not recommend that you do that. Your buyers on Etsy are Etsy's customers, not yours. Etsy is designed to keep their customers on their platform. Etsy is not designed for you to have access to your customers' data. The customer data belongs to Etsy. Because you don't have access to this data, you can't do things like create an email list or do any type of marketing outside of Etsy. In contrast to this, in my Shopify store, I have access to all of my customers' data. I can gather their email addresses and their phone numbers, which means that I can do email newsletters or email marketing campaigns, or I can also do SMS marketing. This gives me another audience to market to when I'm doing something like a big launch, or if I'm trying to get rid of inventory like I'm doing right now with my Thriving Comfort joggers. Etsy is also designed for you to stay on their platform when you're communicating with the customers. You communicate with them via Etsy messages instead of maybe communicating them with email through your business email address. All of this is by design, because you're not supposed to sell to Etsy customers off their platform, meaning you can't come in contact with a customer via Etsy and then pull them on another platform and try to sell to them. Because basically what this is doing is pulling money out of Etsy's pocket. Etsy will not get their fees that they normally charge you for a transaction if you don't sell to them via the Etsy platform. And if you're Etsy, this makes a lot of sense. Now, this might not always be the best for your business, but you are on the Etsy marketplace, so you need to follow the rules. Now, this is one that every Etsy seller out there is going to be able to relate to. Sometimes you're going to get bad reviews and it's outside of your control. Here's an example. You ship out your product, you use USPS, and it doesn't get there in the estimated time. You go check your reviews, and lo and behold, you have a bad review because it says that your product got there late or the shipping took too long. This was totally outside of your control, and there's really nothing you can do about it, because as a buyer, they don't really care that it's USPS that got it there late. It's really your shop. They bought from you, and if you did not get it to them when they thought it should arrive, then it's on you. Okay, and here's another one. This one deals with shipping and processing time. So I've had customers that have selected expedited shipping, and they send me an Etsy message a day later or 2 days later and say, hey, I paid for expedited shipping. Why don't I have my product? Then you have to explain that processing time is different than shipping time. Do buyers always understand this? No, and you can get a bad review because they just don't understand the difference. Even if you are trying to get 5 stars in your ratings, sometimes it is outside of your control, and you're just gonna have to be happy with that 4.9. Now I'm gonna turn it over to you, my community of Etsy sellers. I wanna hear what you think. Do you agree with the things that I've covered in this video? Do you have some Etsy secrets that I didn't cover? Drop those in the comments and let's talk about it together. Let's help each other out. As Etsy sellers, we all know that Etsy support isn't the most helpful, but as a community, we can help each other out and get through some of these not so great parts of selling on Etsy, so we can experience some of the good parts where we are making tons of profits, not revenue, and we're getting 5-star reviews and we have happy customers. While you guys are leaving your comments, I'm gonna take a break and watch some YouTube shorts, but right after you leave your comment, go ahead and watch this video right here.